Welcome to the Daily's Double Shot. I'm Tarek Walmsley.
And I'm Christy Hamilton. On this edition of Double Shot, reporter Brianna Lai explores how the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy affects UW students.
Film critics Kylie Walchuk and Arnold Chon offered their opinions on the new Roman Polanski film, The Ghostwriter.
Double Shot staffers search for the best burger on the Ave.
And reporter Kim Spalding asked UW students about their Chinese zodiac and how the Lunar New Year affects them on her segment, Kim on the Street.
Laura O'Neill Dunn hosts a roommate edition of The Good, the Bad, and the Rad.
And we profile former Daily employee and student filmmaker Tommy Yako on his new film, The Time to Kill.
All coming up on the Daily's Double Shot.
Ooh, what is that? Chinese.
Yeah.
I'll see you there. Okay. First, Brianna Lai reports on the national Don't Ask, Don't Tell debate and how it affects the UW community.
In January's State of the Union, the president announced efforts to repeal Don't Ask, Don't Tell, the policy which bans gays from openly serving in the military. I spoke with campus leaders gauging different opinions on the issue.
The president has decided that the best way to do it is to come up with probably a permanent solution. That's why he wants to see the law repealed. A panel had been convened, has been researching the possibility of the repeal of the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policies, as well as if the Department of Defense can take a more humane approach to how the policy is perhaps applied.
I spoke to Quinn Majeski, president of the Young Democrats, about the policy.
Yeah, I think the current situation of the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy is a senseless prohibition on people who not only have every right to serve in the military, but are fully capable of doing so.
Justin Bryant, president of the College Republicans, argued Democrats are politicizing Don't Ask, Don't Tell to strengthen their party's unity.
And so you've got a president and Democratic Party that need to try to get back to their base and get people excited for what they're doing again, and so they're using Don't Ask, Don't Tell as a way to get more support from the gay community.
One of the most widely held inaccurate beliefs in the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy is that it is solely a Department of Defense policy in regards concerning homosexuals and bisexual people in the military, when in fact it is a law passed by Congress in the 1994 Defense Authorization Act.
And the point of Don't Ask, Don't Tell wasn't that homosexuals shouldn't be in the military, it was that let's protect them so this doesn't become an issue.
So I can see how in the past it would have been beneficial. At this point in time, I don't really see any benefits to the policy.
I spoke to members of SOUL, a group of student activists advocating LGBT equality.
You know, a lot of times they're discharging people who are very valuable, to our country, and who can, really supply a very rare service. So, Don't Ask, Don't Tell is not benefiting anyone.
Maybe we're in the middle of two wars and this isn't the time to be doing it. I would argue this is the time. We're waging wars in the Middle East, and as Emily mentioned, there is a shortage of these people, and we're throwing them out of the military. We need to be bringing them back in as quickly as we can.
The real big question also being asked is, what does this do to the readiness of our armed forces? We're currently engaged in two major conflicts right now, and will we be able to maintain the same level of readiness and same level of proficiency that we're currently executing at this time?
For us, the College Republicans, the most important thing is to defend our troops when they're overseas and to defend the policies that they think are best for our nation.
Best solution would be to simply end the policy entirely.
Don't Ask, Don't Tell isn't about a national policy. It's about a specific military policy to protect homosexuals and to protect all the members of our military, to operate at the highest level. That's why we're the strongest nation on earth. Is because we have a strong military, and to start telling our military what they can and can't do for political reasons, I think is very dangerous.
Generally, people are becoming, more accepting, and they're beginning to realize that, it doesn't matter if you're gay, straight, or whatever, as long as you can do the job. I mean, who cares?
Yeah, there's a lot of questions that are being asked, and no one really has all the answers right now at that, and that's why these panels and these boards have convened that go down and ask those questions.
Clearly, this is a complicated issue that has strong opinions on both sides of the debate. Reporting for the Daily's Double Shot, I'm Brianna Lai.
Certainly a controversial topic.
Definitely.
Next up, we have Kylie Walchuk and Arnold Chon discussing the latest thriller to hit theaters, The Ghostwriter.
Hey there, Huskies, and welcome to Cinema Chat. I'm Kylie Walchuk,
And I'm Arnold Chon.
and tonight we're reviewing the new movie Ghostwriter.
Not to be confused with Ghost Rider, involving Nicolas Cage, flaming skulls, and motorcycles. Now, The Ghost Writer is about the former Prime Minister of Britain, Adam Lang, played by Pierce Brosnan, as he has to hire a new ghostwriter played by Ewan McGregor after his former ghostwriter is found dead. Now, Ewan McGregor's character actually begins to find that there's conspiracy afoot as he works on his memoirs.
Obviously, it's a little confusing. As the plot thickens, twists and turns happen, and you get loaded with so much information that you try and figure out what the truth really is.
I have to agree with that. The movie did throw a lot of information at you, almost from the get-go. It was a little hard to follow up with.
One of the things that jumped out at me were all the people staring into the camera suspiciously. So you think that there's something crazy going on in this island, but nothing really comes of it. It's just the tone, I guess.
You almost think that he's trying to lead you away from what you would think would happen. The movie kind of tends to run towards a very predictable line, and he throws in a lot of extra information to try to stray you from that line.
That doesn't mean that this movie wasn't entertaining. I found myself sucked into the plot, sitting on the edge of my seat at some points, wondering what really was going to happen at the end.
Now, I have to disagree with you with that. I, for the most part, did not like this movie. It was almost too much of a cookie-cutter conspiracy movie. It followed way too many other movies in that someone who isn't even maybe a reporter or someone who would find out the mystery is slowly driven into this whole conspiracy. Now, there were some redeeming points in the movie. I did like the casting. Ewan McGregor's character, usually in conspiracy movies, the main character tends to be detective or a reporter, but Ewan McGregor's character, the ghost, was just a writer.
Right.
And watching him in the situations where the conspiracy would almost try to kill him, he had a very human essence of fear, and you could really tell that he didn't belong there.
Right. I agree. Ewan McGregor was very good in this movie. It is one of the movies that I've liked from him in a while.
Mm-hmm. Now, Pierce Brosnan's character, the former Prime Minister, was under a lot of stress throughout the whole movie with the accusations of war crimes, and I really liked how Pierce Brosnan played that.
Yeah, and I think his performance is almost overshadowed by his wife, played by Olivia Williams, who becomes essential to the plot, and I thought she did a very good job in that role.
The plot itself, though, in my opinion, the conspiracy is what's driving it, but even that, I feel like the discoveries the ghost makes is almost spoon-fed to him. It wasn't, like, impressive, in my opinion. Everything he found out was kind of just, oh, what a coincidence that I'm here at this time.
I actually thought that some of the twists were really good, but there were a lot of them, and it kept the pace of the movie really fast, which was good at sometimes, but sometimes it took a while to catch up and figure out where you were and what was really going on.
This movie could have been longer, and I think I would have appreciated it more if it was. It wouldn't seem a little forced to get everything out in time.
Yeah, and it would also lead the climactic scene, make it more climactic, because you're so fast-paced that by the time you get to the end, you're kind of waiting for this big explosion of a plot, and it doesn't really deliver.
No. It doesn't build enough. It doesn't build upon itself enough for it to have a good ending.
Nonetheless, I'd still say that this was one of the better conspiracy movies I've seen in a while, and I'd recommend seeing it in theaters. I enjoyed it.
I would have to respectfully disagree. I did not like the movie as a whole. I would not see it in theaters. I might see it on DVD if a close friend of mine happened to get it on the 7th day of Hanukkah.
I guess we'll have to agree to disagree.
Because that's all we can do.
Thanks for joining us on Cinema Chat. I'm Kylie Walchuk.
And I'm Arnold Chon. Take it easy, Huskies.
Next, we have Andrew Mittrack in search of the best burger on the Ave.
Hi there, I'm Andrew Mittrack, and today I'm in search of the best burger on the Ave. To start off my search, I stopped by Burger Hut, located south of 42nd Street on the Ave. The burger cost $4.35 with no special add-ons. Next, I ventured just off the Ave to 43rd Street to visit Orange King. Their basic hamburger cost $3.85. And finally, I made a stop by a burger place to pick up another hamburger. Their burger also cost $3.85. Having obtained 3 burgers from 3 different restaurants on the Ave, phase 1 of my search was over. However, I realized that I alone am not qualified to be the sole judge of the best burger on the Ave, so I cut the burgers into thirds and invited 2 co-workers to help me judge the burgers.
So now that we have all 3 of our burgers, I've cut them into thirds, and I'm here with Brianna Lai and Arnold Chan, who are my guest panelists. I know which burgers from which place, but they don't, so they can be the more unbiased judge. So just looking at these, which one do you think you'll like most? This is burger 1, burger 2, burger 3.
No, number 2's looking pretty good.
Brianna, which one would you like to start with?
Start with number 1.
That makes sense. Cheers.
Cheers. I like the bun.
I like the bun. I got a little bit too much of it in my bite. I don't like my bun to patty ratio. A bit too thin. Brianna, your thoughts?
I definitely think the patty's too thin too, but the sesame seeds on the bun tastes really good.
I like what I'm tasting. I'm just not tasting enough of it.
Yeah.
I think we should move on.
And move on we did to burger number 2 from Orange King.
I really like this one.
You really do?
The previous one kind of got the sense of like a frozen patty that was shipped there. This one almost seems like
fresh off the cow's back.
Yeah, and it even feels like medium rare.
The patty is definitely thicker and tastes more fresh. I agree with Arnold.
Now, moving on to burger number 3. Let's do this.
I don't think I like this one.
Really?
You don't like it, really?
No. It doesn't look
You
very
actually dislike
appetizing.
this one, really?
Really?
My
I
least
kind of feel
favorite.
like this takes the best from the previous 2. Like it has the nice meat.
But look at your little patty. It's so thin.
It's not a thin patty.
It's a little thinner. I'll admit than the second
It's thinner
one.
than this one.
Yeah.
This one was a big patty, but I don't know. I'm liking this one.
Yeah. I don't think I want to eat any more of this one.
You don't want to eat any more of it, really.
No, I really don't like it.
Somebody worked hard to make this hamburger for you. You're just gonna.
No, I know somebody worked hard, but
You're voting for burger number 2?
yeah.
I actually do with burger number 3. 1 and 2 come close by having really good meat or really good sauce combinations, but this one may not have perfect everything, but everything comes close. It's a better balance.
You're saying burger number 3. I definitely enjoy number 3 more than I enjoyed number 1. I really did enjoy burger number 2 a lot. I did enjoy all 3 of these burgers though. They're quite tasty. But I think, yeah, my loyalties lie with burger number 2. All right, so do you want to find out which burger's from which place?
Yeah, definitely.
Number 1 is
Okay.
from Burger Hut.
Yeah.
It wasn't any of our personal favorites. I enjoyed it. We all thought that it was, a good burger in general.
So yeah, relatively speaking, that's all we're doing. It's still a good burger.
Burger 2 is actually Orange King. With the bigger patties is Orange King. Burger number 3 was a burger place with the burger.
Yeah, wow.
So, yeah. So we may not all agree on the best burger, but I think we can all agree we had a good time eating burgers and discussing them. And from now on, I think when I'm going to get a burger, I'm going to be going to Orange King, and maybe occasionally a burger place.
I have to agree with that.
All right, well, it was a pleasure eating hamburgers with you guys. We haven't exactly decided for sure what's the best burger on the Ave, but the debate goes on. Hope to eat with you guys again in the future. Thanks for watching. Back to you, Tarek and Christy.
Ooh, I could go for one of those burgers right now. Next up, we have Kim Spalding with her Chinese New Year's edition of Kim on the Street.
In light of the Chinese New Year, we're going to go around campus today and see what students know about this holiday and about the traditional zodiac signs that go along with it. So, what do you guys know about Chinese New Year?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's a different date than our New Year. It was just a few days ago, right? On Valentine's Day?
Yeah. They get those little red envelopes with money.
It's according to the lunar calendar, and it's a big deal for the Chinese.
Did you do anything to celebrate it?
No.
Now, do you know anything about the Chinese zodiac symbols, the animals that correspond with each year?
Yeah. I have no idea what zodiac sign I am, actually. I feel like it's kind of hard to judge an entire year's worth of kids, though.
That I'm like the year of the snake, I think, but that's it.
I'm a dragon. I have no idea what that even means, though.
So would you want to see how compatible you are together?
Sure.
63% chance this might work.
It might work. His wife might get in the way, but that's no biggie.
Do you know anything about your zodiac sign?
I'm the horse.
Horse people are active and energetic. They have plenty of sex appeal and know how to dress. Does this apply to you?
No. Not at all. I'm a dragon. I don't know about you.
I don't know.
Okay, you're the year of the tiger. Oh, it's your year. Yeah, so tiger and dragon have a 76% compatibility rate. Despite minor difficulties, it's good for marriage. So it sounds like some people knew some things about Chinese New Year and some people didn't, but that's okay. We shared some facts and hopefully made some potential romance partners. Who knows? This is Kimberly Spalding reporting for the Daily's Double Shot.
Next, Laura O'Neill Dunn asks students whether living with roommates is good, bad, or rad.
Hello everyone and welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Rad. I'm your host Laura O'Neill Dunn and this week we're talking roommates. Here to help me sort the good from the bad and the bad from the rad, we have Zach Gusson, a poetry major and sports and opinion writer for The Daily. Zach's had over 21 roommates in his lifetime, including 2 in the womb.
To clarify, I was a triplet.
Allison Gorman, an English major who has never had a room to herself.
There was a 6-month period before my brother was born that I did have a room to myself.
And Mina Larazavi, a pre-social welfare major who's enjoying her own room in a cluster right now.
It's rad.
Thanks so much to everyone for coming on the show today. Living with roommates is a huge part of the college experience for many Americans, whereas in other countries, living with parents until an older age is considered the norm. Do you think the expectation to live with roommates is good, bad, or rad?
I think it's good, especially because it gets you out of the house. There's nothing worse than people who are 24 and living in their parental home, like my older brother.
Do you agree?
I agree. I think it's really good. I mean, you learn to solve things for yourself. I feel like if you're living with your parents for so long, you kind of depend on them more.
So you think that the expectation to move out kind of, it helps you grow?
Yeah, it's a good experience to meet new people that come from different backgrounds that you're not really used to or you don't know, You don't get to choose your roommates, especially if you live in the dorms.
Roommates are like friends, and friends like to share, but not always, and probably not when it's your Triscuits that have been devoured by hungry housemates. What's your guys' stance on food sharing in a roommate situation? Good, bad, or rad?
I think food sharing's rad. Just I'll give a little bit, they'll give a little bit. It'll work out. I think up to a certain point, but it can be bad at times.
What are the signs?
It's when you buy something special that's just for you, something like chocolate, something you like, and your roommate eats it, it's just like, oh.
As long as you have open lines of communication, as in whose food you can eat and whose room it's okay to go into.
You guys have never had a situation where your most delicious chocolate that you bought especially for you was eaten?
I think if there's chocolate that good, I'm gonna hide it, and if they can find it, they deserve it.
Okay, well, on that note, since 1980, the Post-it note has enabled college kids to wish each other good luck on your test, as well as pay rent or die. What has been your experience with the roommate note leaving? Good, bad, or rad?
I'm gonna say it's rad. We have something that's much better than a Post-it note. It's a dry erase board, and it means that you can interact with the messages. So we had an ant infestation once, and we wanted to tell everyone that, so we wrote ants. But then someone turned that into pants, which then got turned into plants, which got turned into killer plants, which finally got turned into killer implants. So every different variety had a drawing, and it turned into this awesome, awesome piece of art that we've actually still got framed.
What about the ants, though?
They went away eventually. Winter came.
Unusual habits can be great, but they can also be terrible, as I'm sure some of you can attest. What are some strange behaviors you've seen in your roommates, and were they good, bad, or rad?
I had a roommate who was a huge scuba fishing enthusiast, so he'd come into the house with this dripping wet wetsuit carrying these nasty looking cabezons. And first it's bad because the house is wet.
What is a cabezon?
This gangly looking bottom feeding fish. They feed on little sand crabs, and yeah, I feel like this is graphic, but they were just the ugliest looking things, but they're delicious. So for the first day it would be bad because the house would smell like fish and everything would be wet and muddy, but then when he got around to frying them, it would be rad because he'd share food.
Okay.
I had a roommate last year that she didn't really care about her own privacy, and I walked in on her and her boyfriend 9 times.
Bad? Rad?
Really bad. One time it was with my dad.
You walked in with your dad?
Yeah, I walked in with my dad.
Okay.
On Easter Sunday, I went home, and then my dad walked in my room to help me bring up my stuff, and there they are.
Wow. Well, I mean, the way that sentence was constructed, it could have been worse. Okay.
I have a similar situation. I was in a triple, so there was 2 bunk beds, and my roommate, it might have been her anniversary, and her boyfriend were having sex while I was sleeping like on the other bunk, and my other roommate was like right below her. So like we were all in the room, and it was just really, they like to do that a lot, but just tried to ignore it.
One roommate's clean can be another roommate's nightmare. Have you experienced any disputes over cleanliness with your roommates, and was the outcome good, bad, or rad?
I admit I am kind of a neat freak at times. I don't care if it's like there's clothes or stuff like that, but one of my roommates had like SpaghettiOs on her desk for like 2 weeks. It was so gross. It was bad.
Most roommates are not sold separately. That is to say, they come with friends, boyfriends, girlfriends, sometimes even pets. How would you rate your compatibility with your roommate's accessories? Good, bad, or rad?
Rad. I think it's good to have more people living there. I'm a huge fan of urban density. If that means everyone's got a girlfriend, that's great. And usually they'll all chip in and help pay utilities, if not rent.
And for me, it was bad. My roommate's boyfriend moved up from California with all his belongings and moved into our triple, along with her friend. So there was 5 of us sleeping in this triple for maybe a month or 2 until I was like, hey, this isn't cool, guys. I can't move.
How did that conversation go? Hey, this can't go on.
It was awkward, and they knew I was angry. So it was just one of those awkward conversations you have to have.
I'm ethnically Jewish, although I don't really practice that much, and for that reason people assumed I'd be naturally great at paying the bills. So they would give me all the bills, and I was in charge of it, and once the notice of water shutoff started coming, they realized that I had just been forgetting for the last couple months. So at that point they staged a pretty lengthy intervention, and it worked. We have someone else working on the bills right now.
I'm really awkward when it comes to like talking to someone about a problem. It usually goes, I don't really like what you're doing. So. Could you stop? No. Not good at it.
So it sounds like when you have a conflict with your roommate, you pretty much have to do something about it, or you have to be the one that moves out. Is that what I'm hearing from you guys?
I think so. I mean, after my first couple quarters with those roommates, I moved out because I was like, I can't handle this. But after that, we went on roommate dinners. So they're great people outside of that fact, but living with them, not so great.
I feel like I hear that a lot. Like there are some qualities that make someone a good roommate, and they overlap but don't necessarily encompass the qualities of a good friend. What do you think is the difference between like a roommate and a friend?
I think it's the difference between lust and love. I have people that I'm willing to spend a little bit of my time with, but there are only so many people that I can wake up every morning and be just really excited to see them on the way to the shower. And when you find one of those people, you just know it.
So true love is to roommates as lust is to other friendships?
If this is the SAT, yeah.
Okay, thanks so much. I think that's about all the time we have for this week. I'm your host, Laura O'Neill, and I hope we'll be seeing you next time on The Good, the Bad, and the Rad.
Thanks, Laura. Up next, we profile former UW Daily employee and student filmmaker Tommy Yako on his new feature film, The Time to Kill.
This movie was made over the course of 2 years. The script, we started writing it in 2007 in July, and we began filming in 2008 in August. And we filmed all through August and September of 2008, as well as August and September of 2009.
I worked on the special effects for The Time to Kill, and that included like doing the gunshots and green screen and various other effects.
It was my first experience like really recording music for an application that wasn't just like music to be performed in front of people. So it was kind of a different process.
This is my first feature-length film. I've made probably 20 short films at least, and it was my original team. It was me and the producer of this film, Nick Lee. He's also the main actor. Him and I have been making movies since 1997 or so, and we basically just commandeered his mother's video camera, and it's been history since then, basically.
I've done a little bit on my own personal films, but this was the actual my first actual film for somebody else who needed effects done.
The movie started off as a short film called Richard Dixon for President, and you'll see there's a character on screen named Richard Dixon. And basically, he's this crazy right-wing president, which greatly reflects George Bush. And so, and we were inspired to sort of expand that into a feature-length action movie.
I picked up a special effects program and started learning tutorials online, and just after a while, just got a hang of it.
In some instances, we used kind of the idea of making like a character theme, and at other points, it's just kind of chaos, and I think it worked well.
I hope the audience jeers and laughs and screams and boos and cries. I hope the audience reacts, period. What you're seeing here looks like a nice, complicated setup, but really this is all just a bunch of stuff you can get at a hardware store or anywhere else. These are a couple 500-watt floodlights, just with special light bulbs in them that I bought at Home Depot, basically. This green screen is just a piece of fabric, really. Mic stand, microphone. And I've got a carpet on the floor here to dampen the sound a bit. And really, this entire setup cost me probably around $100 if you don't count the mic and the camera and stuff. It's amazing what you can do if you just throw a little creativity. Thank you guys for coming.
This movie was fantastic. I think that Tommy is a real inspiration to anyone that ever thought that they couldn't do something because of their age.
I live with Tommy, so I know his sense of humor really well, and it fits his style perfectly.
All right, the movie is awesome. Everyone needs to watch it. It's just amazing. So just definitely go see it. It's funny. Definitely the costumes made you laugh a lot. Very, very catchy little slogans. I think it's good.
To make a movie, you've got to just be completely nuts. And if you guys know any of the people involved in this film, you'll know that we are the craziest people you'll ever meet.
Well, that's it for this edition.
See you next week right here on the Daily's Double Shot.